Welcome back once again to the Sci-Fi Horror and Fantasy Show podcast. And now here's your host, Ron Donahue.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, welcome back to the Sci-Fi Horror and Fantasy Show podcast. I am your host, Ronald Donahue, and tonight I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Jeff McIntosh. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing well. I'm recording from my secret laboratory castle deep in the Adirondack Mountains of upstate New York.
So the weather, I understand the weather is tolerable now. You said it was like 85 degrees.
Yeah, 85 and sunny, which is kind of bad for a guy that likes 60s and overcast.
Yeah, well, feel for me then, because I love cold weather, and it's like the norm here is like 90s, 95 now in the summertime. It's beyond miserable. But hey.
But the corn is in the ground and it's growing, and there's a saying, at least up here in farm country, where I am, corn has to be knee high by the 4th of July. So we are knocking at that gatepost right now. For anybody who likes, corn on the cob or grilled corn or I'm not going to mention cream corn because that stuff's just gross.
Yeah, it is. Well, you know what? Unless, okay, let me go back on that. Cream corn is okay if you're going to make something like corn fritters or something, but just to eat it itself is like, yeah, that's really gross. Yeah, it's gross. Or corn pudding. I've had corn pudding before that's pretty good, and you use cream style corn in it. Oh, you know what? And also,
corn muffins.
Corn muffins, and then I had this Hawaiian cookbook years ago. I think I was like 11 or 12 when my parents took me to Hawaii, and I bought this cookbook, and it's called Whalers Fisherman's Chowder. Right? There's no fish in it. The only thing in it is like potatoes, onions, bacon, and cream style corn and milk. But it's really good. So, okay. So for our listeners, yes, this is the Sci-Fi Horror Fantasy and Cooking Show. We're giving you our weekly recipes for our listeners. Yeah. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get started, shall we?
On today's menu, we will give you the recipe for.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So I trust James Gunn implicitly. I trust him with his decisions, with him being over the DCU and his DC universe. I think that the Superman movie that he came out with was really, really good. The Creature Commandos, which was the animated series, which was actually the kickoff for his DCU, was good. But I say I trusted him, but realistically, I really kind of wondered where he was coming from making Supergirl his follow-up movie after he had knocked it out the park with Superman. And I was saying that only because it was, to me, kind of a weird decision to have her, because when you think of all let's put it like they do in Hollywood, your A-list DC heroes, you're talking about your Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash. I don't like the Flash, but I would throw the Flash in there too. She's kind of like a B character, And when they said that was going to be the second movie, I'm like, I trust James Gunn and everything, but it appears that it wasn't the right choice, or either they got the wrong script. There's an article just came out in Variety magazine that's stating that the Supergirl movie is really going to be bracing for maybe about $100 million loss. It didn't do well at all at the box office, and it opened with 37 million in North America and 67 million globally in the opening weekend. And the launch of the movie was way lower than what they expected. So they said that Warner Brothers and DC spent $170 million to make the movie and roughly 120 million to market it. So if we round up, that's okay, that's 290, but let's, with all the other, add-ins and whatever, let's just say about $300 million altogether. So say a movie traditionally, a movie like Supergirl would have to earn at least 300 and say maybe 375 million to break even, right? Because the theaters get to keep about half of the box office returns. So therefore that will put them breaking even at 300. But realistically, it's projected that it's going to get a lifetime gross domestically of 100 million and 200 million globally, which brings it up to, altogether, like say 300, which is still going to fall really short. In essence, about $80 million short. So the question is, Jeff, do you think that this is going to be something that's going to hurt DC Studios in the long term? Or do you think this is just like, you know, they dropped the ball on this one, but they have other stuff coming. What do you think is going to be the outcome of this movie flopping the way that it did?
I was reading some analysis of the movie earlier, and one of the talking heads that I looked at said that he thought it might be maybe superhero glut. We've got Spider-Man and the Incredible Hulk and the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and Superman and now Supergirl.
Okay.
And maybe we're just getting to the point where it's just going to be a flying girl. Yeah, we've never seen that before. I mean, we've never seen Hot Girl or any of the other Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
I think they sort of kind of planned that
Mm-hmm.
that this thing wasn't going to be the next DC superhero explosion popular movie. Oh my God, this is like cooler than Superman. We believe that a man can fly. Now we can see a girl can fly. How cool is
Mm-hmm.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Let me open up my wallet and just suck the money out.
Right.
I think they kind of planned for it because I'd agree with you. Supergirl is not like an A-list superhero. She's not. She's not Superman. She's not Batman. She's not Wonder Woman. She's not the
Mm-hmm.
Flash. She's not Green Lantern. And I mean,
Right.
you look a few years ago, and they touted Green Lantern as being like the movie of the summer,
Okay.
and then it hit, and I'm surprised that DC still isn't kind of got their hand on their wallet, when they think
Mm-hmm.
about the returns from Supergirl and the returns from Green Lantern. But
Mm-hmm.
I think they kind of expected that, I mean, there's always going to be a misstep. And if James Gunn has got a plan and he's pretty popular, and for the most part, I think people will go to see his movies. I mean, nobody is 100% all the time.
That's right. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that this is I think a lot of naysayers like, oh, this is going to be the end of DC. I totally disagree. I don't think it is. I think that they're going to learn from this. I also think that because I know what else was supposed to be coming. So they have the next Superman movie that was coming. But I guess now my only concern is that the writer for Supergirl is also the same, as I understand, the same writer for the upcoming Wonder Woman movie. I don't know if we want to start switching, writers, or maybe again, I think maybe they just need to go back to the drawing board, see what worked for Superman, see what didn't work for this. I haven't seen Supergirl, so I'm not like I say I can't say yay or nay whether it was good or bad. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but just hearing some of the comments that people who did say that one, I don't know if they were thinking that okay, we can make this kind of like a mother daughter movie because now we have a female superhero da da da, but they said nah, that it didn't really come across that way. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a feel good mother daughter movie. It wasn't like that. I don't know. I will hold my. I mean, I can't have an opinion because I haven't seen it, but I'll share it once I do see it. As I said from the very beginning, it looked more like just another version of Guardians of the Galaxy because it does take place out in outer space, other planets, aliens, blah, 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 the whole thing. That's why it reminded me so much of that, Guardians movie. But I don't think this is the end of DC. They have come out with James Gunn, like I say, 2 shows. So if you take 3 of his shows, well, 2 movies and 1 show, he's still, ahead of the game with at least 1 good movie and 1 TV show. So
they could have saved $375 million, and here's how you could have done it. The first Supergirl movie with Helen, I want to say Helen Shaver back in the late 1980s, early 1990s. You just could have retitled that
put that back out.
shown it again, and
Yeah.
okay, it's money in the bank because the movie's already been made. So
Yeah. Well, they're gonna learn from this one, hopefully. I mean, that's a lot of money to lose. 80 million, that's a whole lot of money to lose. Well, to our listeners, has anyone seen Supergirl as of yet? And if you did, what did you think about it? Was it great? Did it suck? I mean, movies are subjective, but what was your take on it? Do you think that once you've seen it, do you think the bad press it's getting is accurate? Drop us an email at drbloodstone@gmail.com and let us know what you think. All right. So next up on the deck, we're going back to DC Studios and Warner Brother. They're actually going to be coming out with 3 new animated series. One of them is going to be with this brand new, I think it started last year, if I'm not mistaken, brand new Absolute Batman series. They're going to have another series, Joker Laugh Riot, that's supposed to be like Absolute Batman and Joker Laugh Riot are going to be adult animated series. And then, from my understanding, this new one they have for Crypto is going to be like, for younger kids or what have you. Are you familiar with the Absolute universe that DC has now?
yeah, because they've got a bunch of heroes out that I've seen some of the comic books that I steal from my grandson.
Yeah,
And
they have.
just recently on YouTube, I've seen a couple of the trailers. And if you go
Yeah.
back to the first series of animated Batmans, the trailer that I saw for Absolute Batman was the same thing, except the Batman was different, and the weapons were a little bit different, and the
Mhm.
Batmobile was different. So I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing Absolute Batman because it's a different Batman. We're used to Bruce Wayne, and you know, like the Joker said in the first Batman movie, where does he get all these wonderful toys? Well, when you're like a billionaire, you don't have to worry about, going down to, the local tool and die and making your own weapons. But Absolute Batman, is a working class guy. He doesn't have,
Mhm.
he doesn't have the billions of dollars. I'm guessing probably he does not have an Alfred. So, it's probably just him unless they decide to introduce Absolute Robin.
They do have Alfred is there, but he's not the Pennyworth that that we've known in, previous Batman series or anything like Batman movies or stories. Also, in Absolute Batman, Bruce Wayne's mom is alive. But he's if I'm not mistaken, Bruce Wayne is like in the daytime, like a construction worker. So I mean, he's still built like a brick house. He's still, big. But this Batman, the whole Batman, you know what? I gotta tell you, I don't think I did buy the very first Absolute Batman comic book when it came out. They have so many different Batman series out there, and I'm just okay, this is gonna be a one off. But this one, oh my gosh, man, this thing. It's so funny. I know for those who are not familiar, might be your first time listening. I'm an avid comic collector, and some of these comics, their prices, they're more valuable because maybe when they first came out, there might not have been that many issues that came out, and or the condition that some of these books are in. But some of these, and this book just came out last year, and they're graded from 0 all the way to 9.8. So you have 9.6, 7.0. The higher the number, the better, the higher the grade. So the book came out, I think the cover price on the book was like probably $3.99, something like that, $4.99, whatever it is. And now you have some of these graded ones. I think the highest I've heard of a 9.8 being sold of this book just came out last year. I think was it $150 or $200? So this is huge. These absolute stories, absolute universe is huge. There's absolute Batman. There's a completely different absolute Wonder Woman. Absolute Superman is completely different than the Superman we know. They just came out recently with a absolute Green Arrow, but he's not like the Green Arrow that we know. He's more like an assassin. I mean, these definitely are not like little kids books. These are very dark, very violent. And matter of fact, the bat on I think it's ugly. The bat logo on Batman, the new on his absolute costume. But that actually comes off, and he has like a metal handle that he attaches to it, and it's an axe. And he goes off. He's actually chopped off like criminals' hands.
And
You know,
the ears on his cowl are batarangs, I believe.
yeah. I mean, this guy's like a walking weapon. I mean, he's like dangerous, man. So it's nothing like the Batman of yesterdays and nothing like that. It's cool. I mean, it's really cool. I kind of like I say, I got on the bandwagon late, and recently I haven't seen it, but they just came out with the Absolute Joker, which they say is like terrifying. I haven't seen him. I don't know the whole story behind it, but they say he's horrifying. So I think it's great. I'm late to the game. I mean, I haven't really collected many of those. I have a couple of those Absolute comic books or whatever, but really, I'm not really. I'm so late to the game now that it's a little bit too late for me to go back and start from day one, start reading. Oh, what did I miss and all this? Because if they keep coming out, they've already had, like I say, Absolute Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, Martian Manhunter, and and it's more coming in this universe. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a really cool. If they say it's going to be an adult series. I think it's going to be really cool. The Joker Laugh Riot. I don't know what that's going to be about, really, other than it's going to be another adult show. So, what say you, Jeff, about these new adult versions of these different series coming out, except for Crypto? Good idea, bad idea? Are you going to be checking any of them out?
I like the stuff. I like the animation I've seen for the new Batman series. That looks pretty good. Joker, I'll take a look at just to see. Crypto the Wonder Dog, it's probably going to be like a hard no. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of super animals. I mean, I remember the days growing up when there was a Streaky the Super Cat and Crypto, and there was a super horse in there at one point in time. And Come on. You know,
You remember do you remember, Jeff, there was a series at one time, like you say, there was Crypto, then Batman's German Shepherd. I can't remember what his name is.
yeah.
And
He
it
had,
was
he had a cowl and a cape.
right, he had a mask and a collar, like you need that for a dog. And then I don't remember who else was with it, but they had their adventures. It was like, geared toward little kids and whatever.
Yeah,
But
I caught a couple episodes and
yeah.
yeah, not so much. And all the animals could communicate together. So, Crypto could speak dog and
Right. Yeah.
if there was a super canary, then I'm sure that the canary could speak dog.
Right. Yeah, everybody could talk to everybody. And well, you know what? Hey, look. Now I've said this before and I'll say it again. As far as animated series go, if you take DC and you take Marvel, DC animated series are always superior to Marvel. I don't know why. I don't know why Marvel's formula is not the same, but I don't think there's ever been any DC series that I've seen, be it like a movie or a series, animated series, that wasn't just fantastic. The only one I will say, it was all right. The only thing I didn't like about it was that they just had Bruce Wayne was just like such a jerk in it. Was that Batman series that came out on Amazon? I think it came out like last year. I don't
Yeah,
remember the name of it. Well, I don't remember the name of it. But man, he was just like such a cold jerk. Even the way that he was like, talk to Alfred and whatever, like talking down to him. I'm like, man,
they,
I
they,
didn't.
they made Penguin a woman, and
Yeah, yeah,
I can't remember that they made that. I'm going to say this. This is how it appeared to me. It may not be that way in real life,
okay.
but Detective Montoya, they kind of made it geared like she was gay because she
Oh
had
no, she was. It came out. She was.
and she was going to go with that psychiatrist. I want to say it was like Strange, but that might not have been her last name.
Yeah.
But they were going to like go off together, and then
Hmm.
I haven't heard anything on season 2 if there's going to be a season 2.
Yeah. It was okay. My whole thing was just like I say, man, he was just like, man, I've never seen a Batman movie or series where he was just like a jerk. He's like, man, I almost want to see the bad guys beat him up. You know what I mean? So
Well, I didn't like Cartoon Network did a series a few years ago that was Brave and the Bold.
yeah,
And I thought that was just, really kind of cartoony and kind of
it was.
jokey,
It
and
was.
I just like,
Yeah.
this ain't really Batman. Batman doesn't really have much of a sense of humor, and
Right.
he's,
Hmm.
he ain't a stand up comedian.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it remains to be seen. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to the absolute Batman. I'm kind of interested in the Joker Laugh Riot and Crypto. I mean, I'll take a look at it and see. I mean, if it's too goofy, childish or whatever, I probably won't be watching it. But at
You,
least the
you,
other two.
you know
Hmm?
that show Paw Patrol. I think it's going to be like that.
Oh
Where
no.
they have like the 5 pups and they get together and they fight crime and they have kids as
Yeah.
so it's going to be like that. You get Crypto the super dog and you get Bat Dog.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll be like they'll be like Lassie. They'll be smarter than human beings, solving crimes and everything.
Whoa,
So
whoa.
yeah,
Run fell down
exactly.
the well.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So all right, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, like I say, I hope they they're decent anyway. All right. We're heavy into animation tonight. So our next story actually is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. We're back on Warner Brothers again. Warner Brother is going to create a animated version of the 1960s cult show Dark Shadows. So this would be the first animated version of the series. The first series came out in the 1960s. It ran from on ABC from 1966 to 1967. Then they had another version that came out, I believe it was like in the 90s. Basically the same stories, just different actors and actresses or whatever. But now we're going, and then I never saw the movie with Johnny Depp because, I mean, it just looked stupid. To me, my understanding, they made it more like a dark comedy, which the original
It
series.
was wretched. I paid to see it.
Oh, wow. But they tried to, it was supposed to be funny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Right.
Just
So, I mean, I'm
no
not even
time.
I'm not even counting that in the what they created, but
they did have a couple of movies after the series wrapped in 71. One of them was House of Dark Shadows.
okay.
And I can't remember the other movie. The only thing I can remember, there was a scene where they were staking a vampire,
Mm-hmm.
and they pounded the stake into her chest, and
Mm.
she went and ripped it out, and then you could see the blood flying off the stake. But there was at least one, maybe two movies back in the 70s after the series had wrapped.
Okay. Okay.
In fact, if you give me just a second, I will
Mhm.
take a look.
The star of the show, well, of the series, is a vampire named Barnabas Collins, and it's basically a story about he shows up in the 1960s interacting with his dysfunctional family, right? It's a whole, it would take us all night to sit here and give you the whole storyline and everything about it. Now, I will say this. I never completed all of the original Dark Shadow series. I would say I probably watched maybe 75 to 80% because to me, the latter episodes really started getting, I don't know, just kind of weird. I mean, okay, it's a supernatural story, but even for that, it seemed like it was just really getting kind of weird or what have you. But I'll say this is Warner Brothers. I mean, if they're gonna, as long as they're not gonna, make this goofy, make it silly, as long as it's gonna, stay along the same lines as the original series, really, dark, gothic, really creepy. Yeah, I think it might be pretty good. As long as, like I say, just keep it along the lines of the original series. It's animated, but just keep it close to home of the original story. Did you find it, Jeff?
All I can find is references to the Johnny Depp film, but I'll keep digging. But I know that there was at least one, and I'm willing to bet money that it was House of Dark Shadows.
Okay.
In fact, let me look at that title, which is what I did not do.
Okay. I'm trying to see. It doesn't really say.
Okay, House of Dark Shadows, 1970. House of Dark Shadows, blah blah blah. American Gothic horror, produced and directed Dan Curtis, based on the TV series. Barnabas Collins searches for a cure for vampirism so he can marry Maggie Evans, a woman who resembles his long-lost fiancée. Released October 20th, 1970. Commercial success. Followed this film 1 year later with Night of Dark Shadows. So there you go.
It said that the original series had 1,200 plus episodes. That's crazy. I had no idea that it was that many.
Well, traditionally, I believe it. I watched it for years because I would run home from school to catch it in the afternoon. And I think that it was just like a traditional soap
Yeah.
for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then, then it was going under. And Dan Curtis had the idea, well, what if I throw some vampires and werewolves and ghosts? And after that, bam, it ran for I don't know, I think like 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah, from 66 to 71. Yeah, so
I always wanted the cane. I always wanted Barnabas Collins' cane.
I'm sure you can find it online.
Oh yeah, I mean I've got the cane from the 1941's Wolfman, that I'm not
Oh
allowed
yeah,
to leave the house with. Yeah, my
the
wife won't
silver
let me.
head.
Yep. Of course, I got the chrome head
Okay.
because the silver plated head was almost $500, and I don't know what they are today. I mean, I don't think they're in active production anymore. But I went looking at one at eBay a few months ago, and it was like
Mhm.
$500-600. I said, well, let me start just putting some of that money away in my piggy.
This is now no one can be mad that I'm giving away a spoiler. The original werewolf movie, Lon Chaney Jr. I always thought that movie was so funny because you have this werewolf running around killing people, and he dies because his daddy beats him to death with a cane. That's so funny. That was hilarious. That ending. I'm sorry. I love Universal, but I'm like, okay, did you guys run out of money? I mean, really? That's the way he ends up getting killed. He gets beat to death with a cane. So now, Jeff, knowing that it's silver that kills werewolves, you know you can't go out there trying to kill any of them with your cane if it's chrome.
No, I mean I tried that. We did have a bunch. We did have some mutilation murders here, and I put on my deerstalker cap and my Iverness cape like Sherlock Holmes, but I
Uh-huh.
didn't see nothing.
Gotcha.
I'm
Yeah.
like I'm like Sergeant Saltz from Hogan's Heroes. I see nothing. I suspect nothing.
Uh-huh. I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, next up, last week I gave a list of some horror movies, summer horror movies. Well, no. What did I have? Last week was kind of like a mix of different movies for the summer. This week, I have two different lists. I have 5 summer horror movies, and these are all movies coming from the 1970s. Okay. So, our first list we have are summer horror movies from the 1970s. So, if you haven't seen any of these movies, I'm sure you can find them. You can check them out. All of them were pretty cool. Well, the ones, I mean, I've seen most of them anyway, but let's go. The first one we have on our summer horror movies from the 70s is Jaws. Came out in 1975. Steven Spielberg's masterpiece. If you have not seen that movie, you need to be put out of the country. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. Everyone should see Jaws, right? Fantastic movie. It should never be remade. I know that's my opinion, but awesome movie. Awesome summer movie. Another one, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The other Texas Chainsaw Massacres that came out, in my opinion, you can kind of like throw them out in the trash because I thought they were like, they really weren't very good, right? The original one, it almost looks like an old Grindhouse movie. Toby Hooper was the director. Really, really good, really good. I thought it was a great movie. It's also, and another thing about these movies, all these movies take place in the summertime too, so it's not a coincidence that I put them on this list. Now, this movie was goofy as all outdoors, but for a B movie, it's enjoyable. And I think it was pretty much like an answer to Jaws, even though it came out a couple years later. 1978's Piranha. Again, now this is a B made movie. Special effects are not great, even for 1978 compared to if you ever see the Jaws movie. If you've seen the Jaws movie, but it's entertaining. It's entertaining. It's goofy, but it's entertaining. Now this movie, I have never seen it, so this is going to have to be something I'm going to have to try to watch. It's 1978's Summer of Fear. It's also known as Stranger in Our House. It was directed by Wes Craven. It's a made-for-TV movie, and it follows a teenager whose life is disrupted when her orphan cousin comes to live with her family during the summer and harbors sinister supernatural secrets. The last one we have for the summer is Hills Have Eyes, that came out in 1977, and that's another Wes Craven classics movie that takes place in the unforgiving summer sun. It follows a vacationing family stranded in the Nevada desert who must fight for survival against a clan of deformed, bloodthirsty savages living in the hills. So off of that list, I've seen 3 of those 5, Jeff. Have you seen all of them?
No, seen Jaws,
Mm-hmm.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, partially
Mm-hmm.
based on that old cut up, Ed Gein.
Mm-hmm.
Piranha, I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Summer of Fear, I do not know that movie at all.
Yeah.
Hills Have Eyes, yes, because they had that character actor. What's his name? I want to say Michael Berryman, who played that mutant looking
Right.
bald guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen 4 out of the 5.
Okay. I've seen 3. I don't know. Wait a minute. Stranger in Our House. I'm trying to think of. I did see this made for TV movie where the orphan comes to the house. But I think if I'm thinking of the same, if this is it, the orphan is like a witch and starts doing like this witchcraft stuff on the family and all this stuff. If I'm thinking of the same movie, I don't know. It might be the same movie. It might not be. I'll just have to go back and double check it and
But
see.
back in the 70s, all the horror movies were all the same. It's a sinister presence in the house. It's the odd babysitter or the weird cousin, or
Hmm.
maybe it's a ghost or a murderer in the attic. They're all pretty much kind of interchangeable.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Now, I'm gonna put an honorable mention in here. I'm biased. I'm not saying any other. I'm not saying any different. I am biased. Another one of my summer movies that really wasn't on this list, but I think it goes in perfect is the 19 now. Oh no, you know what? Let me stop. I'm already in the wrong. Forget it. I'm wrong because it didn't come out in 1970. So never mind. I'll bring it up when we discuss horror movies, summer movies from the 80s. Okay, so that's our list of summer horror movies. Top 5: Jaws 1975, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974, Piranha 1978, Summer of Fear 1978, and Hills Have Eyes 1977. So now we have 5 summer fantasy movies from the 1970s. This is a pretty good list. So we have Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which came out with in 1971, starring Gene Wilder. I think everybody knows who Willy Wonka is and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I know they did one years later with Johnny Depp. I saw parts of it and I was like, okay, I didn't need to watch all of it. The original one with Gene Wilder is so bizarre, but it's a great movie. I mean, it's a really, really good movie. Next up, we have The Golden Voyage of Sinbad, which came out in 1973. The quintessential 70s fantasy adventure featuring breathtaking stop motion animation by the legendary Ray Harryhausen. Next up, we have Lord of the Rings. Now, this is the animated one. This is actually the first Lord of the Rings I was ever exposed to. Directed by Ralph Bakshi, this bold attempt to bring J.R.R. Tolkien's epic to the screen used pioneering rotoscope animation. Look, I've never done drugs in my life, but I can tell you, watching this movie, I kind of figured that's what it would be like to do drugs and watch a movie. It was out there. But to this day, that's the only Lord of the Rings I'll watch. I've never watched any of the newer ones that came out, and I think it's a great movie. Next up is 1977's The Hobbit. Also, the iconic Rankin and Bass musical and animated television feature captures the cozy charm of Bilbo Baggins' unexpected journey. And lastly, I have not seen this. This is on my to watch list. I think it's on either Netflix or Amazon. I've never seen it. It's called Fantastic Planet. It came out in 1973. It's a visually arresting French Czech animated film set on a distant planet where oppressed humans are kept as pets by a giant blue skinned alien ruler. So now, Jeff, of this list of 5, How many of these have you seen?
Willy Wonka,
Okay.
Golden Voyage.
Uh-huh.
I think I've seen bits and pieces of Lord of the Rings.
Uh-huh.
Boy, after Mad Monster Party, uh, the Santa Claus one that they did that ran on for TV for years. I mean, it still leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Which one?
So they did a Santa Claus with the with a giant Yeti, and there was a lumberjack in there, and
What?
an elf who wanted to be a dentist.
Oh, you're talking. Oh, I know the one you're talking about. Oh, you did with yeah, you didn't like that one?
Oh,
The one from
oh,
the what's it called? The toys, right? The
that's
toys.
the one thing I like, because I will talk to people today, and I'll say, you're just a misfit toy, aren't you?
Right, right. The island of misfit toys.
Yep. And Fantastic Planet, I've heard of it. I've seen bits and pieces. It's not going to be anything I really want to see.
No.
Nah.
Okay.
I have
Well.
enough trouble with American animation, and so you're showing something to me that's French and Czechoslovakian, and I'm just going to go, huh?
I've seen on this list. I've seen 3. Now, I was not old enough to see them when they first came out. Willy Wonka, The Golden Voyage of Sinbad. I remember I didn't see all of the movie. So okay, so 1978. My parents, I don't know if it was a Benihana. I don't know if Benihana's had been around that long, but I know in downtown Detroit, it was called the Renaissance Center. Glass looking building, whatever's still there, it's still there now. Looks kind of like the one in Georgia. But we went to go see Lord of the Rings, and then we had dinner reservations afterwards. But I don't think my parents realized how long the movie was. So we actually had to get up and leave before the end of the movie to go to this place like Benihana. I just remember it was like Benihana's a Japanese restaurant or whatever. They cook in front of you. But I didn't see it, the complete movie, until like years later. The Hobbit, I don't know if I saw that or not. I mean, I might have. I mean, they used to put so many animated things on TV, specials and whatnot. I don't recall if I did see it. Well, you know what? Maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe I did. I
They
just
used,
know
they
for
used to they used
Hmm?
to run it after a Charlie Brown Christmas.
I don't know. Do you remember? I don't know what the name of it was, Jeff. Like they had so much weird stuff. Oh my gosh, was everybody in Hollywood on drugs in the 70s? So
I think
remember,
so.
you remember they had that. It's so terrible, but it's almost like when it's like a car accident, you can't take your eyes off of. You remember the Star Wars? They didn't call it a Christmas special, but it came out around Christmas. The Star Wars thing. You remember
Yep.
that?
Yep.
Oh, you can watch it on. I think it's on YouTube now. They didn't call it Christmas. It was called Life Day, and the Wookiees and Chewbacca was on a mission, I think, with Han Solo, and he had to get back to the planet to Life Day. They had people dancing and singing, and oh wow, that was so bad. Oh my
I
god,
think I read there that I can't remember who created the Star Wars universe.
George Lucas,
George Lucas. I
right?
remember somebody reading something where he said, never, that will never ever be broadcast again on TV. And
So now you can watch it on YouTube. It's bad, but I would tell anybody, you know what? If you like Star Wars, just take it with a grain of salt. I mean, just take it as I don't know what they were thinking when they made that movie. Made it. You got Princess Leia singing. It is so out there. I mean, it is really really out there. But again, just check it out. It's terrible, but it's kind of like one of those things. It's a terrible movie, but it grows on you.
you gotta 4 or 5 TV execs, and they're in the boardroom and they're passing around a giant roach, Yeah, taking a big drag and saying, "Can't you just see Princess Leia dancing and singing
Yeah,
to?"
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Put that in.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't that comedian that used to be on Carol Burnett? Wasn't Harvey Korman on there too?
It might
If it
be. I don't
if it
know.
wasn't Harvey Korman, it was that other guy.
Tim
Oh
Conway.
no 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 no! He was a comedian, like flamboyant, right? But he kept his life like very personal. Paul,
Paul Lynn.
yeah, Paul Lynn. I think if it was either Harvey Korman or Paul Lynn was on there too. Yeah, I think it was Harvey Korman, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not
Yeah, I
mistaken,
mean,
it's Harvey Korman.
Paul Lynn, for people who really like terrible TV, and I think I mentioned this before.
Mm.
Paul Lynn's Halloween special is on YouTube. You will absolutely not thank me for telling you to watch it,
We gotta
because
bring,
it's
yeah.
horrible, and it had the woman who was the witch in the Wizard of Oz, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that they had, but I can't be certain of this. The actress that played Witchy Poo on
Right,
HR Puppet
exactly.
Stuff, or one of
Uh-huh.
those goofy kid shows in the '70s, and but I think Kiss was on it too. So if you like Kiss,
They were, they were. Oh man, you know what, Jeff? We gotta figure this out. We have to figure this out. Let's do that. Let's do that this year. So for I don't know how many weeks are in October this year, but why
probably
don't we
four.
do like a live viewing? And so we'll do like a live movie viewing. So I mean, we can comment. If our fans want to like chat or whatever, we'll announce it ahead of time or whatever. So we can do Paul Lynn's Halloween. We can do Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. That's another one. What's another horrible? I mean, there's a number of really, really bad Halloween movies made for TV, movies and shows that came out. We'll advertise it well in advance, so for any fans that want to join us, we'll all have a watch party together for some of these really train wreck TV shows. Yeah, that'll be cool. We'll do that this year. Well, anyway,
Here
to
now,
our
see,
mhm.
I took a quick look, and
Mhm.
if we're not looking at a specific time period, they've got the Dog Who Saved Halloween from what is it, 2011, and then they've got When Good Ghouls Go Bad with Christopher Lloyd,
Oh yeah.
Mr. Boogedy, Monster Mash. Oh, I've seen that. That's horrible. Uh, Halloween High, Return to Halloween, any of the Halloween towns.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to actually go through a laundry list of horrible movies to figure out which ones we'll do. But yeah, it's definitely something I want to do this year. I think that would be really cool. All right. So now we have come to the part of our show. The question of the week. So now, our question of the week this week is: what's the perfect summer movie marathon that would include one sci-fi movie, one horror movie, and one fantasy film? What would your perfect summer movie marathon consisting of a sci-fi, a horror, and a fantasy film be, Jeff?
I'm going to start out with 1967's Island of the Burning Doom.
Hmm.
This is where it stars Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing and a fellow by the name of Patrick Allen, who I can't put a face to.
Okay.
But it's the dead of winter and an isolated English island. And all of a sudden, there is sudden sweltering heat waves, driving temperatures up to dangerous levels. And
Hmm.
it turns out that it's a deliberate attempt by space aliens to take us over. So
Okay.
that fits in line, with a sci-fi summer movie.
Okay, that's your
My horror
sci-fi.
my horror movie is going to be Midsummer.
Oh, okay.
where there's a American couple that go to a remote Swedish village because they're invited to this very insular midsummer festival, and they find out that they're in the clutches of a pagan cult. And I'm not gonna spoil the ending for you, but if you are a big fan of pagan cults and folk horror, give it a watch.
Okay.
Fantasy movie is gonna be, I believe, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay. Cool list. All right. My list, I'll start off with my horror film, which for summer films, a no-brainer. Jaws, the original Steven Spielberg classic film. My sci-fi film would be Tron, the original 1980s Tron film. And my fantasy film, I think it's one of my all-time favorite animated films, Fire and Ice. You ever saw that, Jeff?
Yeah, I think so. Wasn't that based off of some of Frank Frazetta's stuff?
Yeah, the ice people against the wizard Necron and the fire people, and there's a one scene in it. I mean, it's not identical, but it reminds me so much of the Star Wars scene where the X-Wing fighters are trying to destroy the Death Star when they're going through that like trench or whatever and avoiding the lasers and all this. There's a scene in the movie. Now, it's not the same because this is fantasy, so there's no, Death Star and lasers and stuff. But there's a scene where these warriors are on top of these dragons and they're flying into the stronghold of this wizard that I'm talking about, Necron. And as they're flying through, there's these, I don't know, what do you want to call them? They're kind of like, I don't know, cavemen or whatever, barbarians, whatever, that are up under Necron, that are like throwing rocks and bows and arrows and spears as they're flying through. And I mean, they're flying so fast through there, man. I don't know. Again, we're talking about two different genres, like with science fiction and fantasy. But either or, I don't know. That always that scene always puts me in mind of Star Wars when they're getting ready to blow up the Death Star. Well, anyway, that brings us to the end of our show. I want to thank my co-host, Mr. Jeff McIntosh. Jeff, great show as always.
Thank you. I'd like to give a shout out to all our listeners. You are the reason why we do this, and tell your friends. We need more viewers, actually listeners.
Absolutely. Now, I've been looking and I found that we don't get a lot of people listening to our podcast on YouTube, but all of our episodes are there on YouTube. You can subscribe there. And if you happen to listen to us, if you like our episode, please give us a thumbs up and share, like Jeff said, with your friends or whatever. But we can also be heard on all the other platforms out there where you listen to your podcast, your Amazon, you name it, Apple, we're there. So once again, we want to say thank you to our listeners. We thank you for your support. And we hope to see everyone next week. Stay cool this summer. Make sure you stay hydrated. And we'll see you next time.
Same bat time, same bat channel.